Okay, then we have here the term maximal reabsorptive capacity, also called here the TM. Other name for that is your renal threshold. So when speak about the maximal reabsorptive capacity, is actually the capacity of your renal tubules to reabsorb at a certain concentration of your substance. It is a concentration of your substance wherein your renal tubules no longer able to reabsorb. So may limit ang capacity of our renal tubules for that then to be reabsorb the substance. If the substance, for example, is more than that sa kanyang maximal reabsorptive capacity, the substance will not be reabsorbed. Pag na hindi siya na-reabsorb, ano mangyari? Ang substance na yan ay lalabas sa ihi natin. Okay, so in the case of your glucose, for example, the renal threshold for that is 160 to 180 mg per dl. Okay, so what do you mean by that? Pag sinabing renal maximal reabsorptive capacity, so again, pag sinabing maximal reabsorptive capacity, ito yung pinaka-capacity ng renal tubules natin na kaya niyang i-reabsorb ang substance. Okay, like for example, the glucose is 160 to 100 mg per dl. Like for example, after filtration, ang glucose natin pupunta siya dito kasi na-filter ang glucose natin. Okay, however here, if the concentration of the glucose here in the blood of the patient, for example, is 160 lang, so again, kaya pa rin siyang i-reabsorb ng ating proximal convoluted tubules. Okay, so pag kaya ni-reabsorb, babalik niya dito sa blood. Okay, so pag ibalik niya sa blood, ang ihi natin, wala ng glucose. Like for example, the case of your DM or your diabetes mellitus. Pag DM ang patient natin, diabetes mellitus, we're expecting the patient to have a very high blood glucose. Okay, so your blood here from the heart, papasok siya dito, so you have your very high glucose value. That's more than 180 mg per dl. Pagdating niya dito, okay, so ang i-reabsorb lang ni proximal convoluted tubules natin would be up to 180 mg per dl. Ang sobra doon, ang mangyayari ay, ang 180 mg per dl, reabsorb niya, babalik niya dito, transport niya dito, then babalik sa circulation. Ang sobra na glucose, lalabas siya dito. Okay, pag tinest mo ang ihi na patient natin, positive siya sa glucose. Because again, that's already beyond the maximal reabsorptive capacity of the patients. So kung yun ang findings mo, ang glucose na patient mataas, blood glucose na mataas, tapos ang urine glucose na mataas, so we are suspecting that the patient is diabetes mellitus. Because of the overflow of the concentration of the glucose more than the one capable of the proximal convoluted tubules to reabsorb. However, here, like for example, okay, normal naman ang blood glucose ng patient. Like for example, ang blood glucose is nasa 100 lang. Okay, so dapat pag 100, kaya ba or hindi i-reabsorb ni proximal pag dumaan siya dito? Okay, kaya niya dapat i-reabsorb, di ba? So pag 100 mg per dl lang glucose niya, dapat i-transport niya dito, pabalik sa circulation, wala ka nang maiwang glucose dapat. That's negative. So pag normal ang patient, yun dapat ang nangyayari. Okay, paano for example here, tinest mo ang glucose ng patient, normal ang glucose level niya, pero pag tinest mo ang ihi niya, nagkaroon ng positive na urine glucose. Bakit nagkaganon? Kaya niya namang reabsorb dito pagdating dito. Bakit lumabas siya dito? Again, the problem with that is the patient would have here, the tubular reabsorption problem. Okay, so pag tubular reabsorption problem, normal ang glucose mo dito, lumabas ang glucose mo kasi hindi niya na-reabsorb. So, yun ang magiging findings. Pag hindi niya na-reabsorb, pag tinest mong ihi, maging positive siya sa urine glucose. Pero ang blood niya normal. It's because, again, pagdating dito, hindi siya na-reabsorb ng ating proximal convoluted tubules because the patient has a problem in the tubular reabsorption. So, ito magiging result ni patient. Blood glucose niya normal, pero ang ihi niya may positive for the glucose. That's tubular reabsorption problem patient. Differentiating that one from the patient having a diabetes mellitus na lahat glucose, blood glucose niya and urine glucose niya are all increased or positive. Okay, the next one, we have here the term counter-current mechanisms. So when speak about the counter-current mechanism here is just the process whereby you have here mga areas na may mga like this one, may reabsorption ng sodium dito. Okay, then may reabsorption din ng sodium dito sa distal convoluted tubules. Only that, again, ang reabsorption ulit ng sodium natin sa distal convoluted tubules is not on the active transport, but rather that one is through your aldosterone. Then the water, for example, here may reabsorption dito na part proximal, descending, wala dito. Again, may mga part na may mga reabsorption ng electrolytes, may mga reabsorption ng water, may mga reabsorption dito ng electrolytes, wala dito ng water. That's to maintain the concentration gradient. That's your counter-current mechanism na tinatawag. May mga area dito na may reabsorption, may mga part na walang reabsorption, dito may electrolyte, dito may water, dito walang water. That's to maintain the osmotic gradient. That's your counter-current mechanisms. Okay, the next one, we have here the reabsorption of the water. Again, the reabsorption of the water here basically is occurring in all parts of the renal tubules. May proximal, descending, wala dito sa ascending. Why wala sa ascending? Because the ascending loop of Henle is impermeable to your water. Then, may water reabsorption here in the final reabsorption of that for the final concentration of your urine is occurring here in the collecting ducts. And remember that the water reabsorption in collecting ducts is under the influence of the hormone aldosterone, antidiuretic hormone. Other name for your antidiuretic hormone is your arginine vasopressin. So, pag madami kang antidiuretic hormone, madaming water ang marireabsorb. Tama? Pag madami kang antidiuretic hormone dito sa collecting ducts, madaming water ang marireabsorb. Pag madaming water marireabsorb, madaming water babalik dito sa ating dali niya dito sa blood vessel natin papunta sa ating blood circulation. So, pag ang water mo dito nawala because na-reabsorb siya, ang urine output natin ay, ano mangyari? Dami ba? Dami pa bang lalabas na water dito na volume or wala na? Okay, wala na masyadong water man na nalalabas because of, again, okay, because much of the water has been reabsorbed by your antidiuretic hormone. And therefore, pag madami antidiuretic hormone, more water will be absorbed, less water lalabas dito. Okay, urine water here, urine volume decrease, but we are considering that, classifying that urine output here as a concentrated na urine output, and that will signify sa patient to be dehydrated. Pag dehydrated ka, wala kang urine output. Okay, bakit paano nangyayari yan? If you are dehydrated, di ba, nauuhaw tayo. Okay, so once you are experiencing here thirst, you have a thirst center. Your hypothalamus is your thirst center. So once activated here, it would produce your antidiuretic hormone. Okay, so since nauuhaw ka, kailangan mo mag-reabsorb ng water. Kailangan ng katawan natin. However, here, much of the water has been reabsorbed because of your increased antidiuretic hormone. It would result here to decrease urine output. So that's more decreased urine output, dehydrated ang patient, concentrated ang urine niya. On the other hand, pag hindi ka nauuhaw, your thirst center, your hypothalamus will not be activated. And therefore, wala kang antidiuretic hormone. Pag wala kang antidiuretic hormone, ano mangyari? Pag wala kang antidiuretic hormone here, hindi marireabsorb ang water. Okay, therefore, ang water natin ay dediretso lang dito, lalabas sa ihi natin. And what you have here more urine output kasi hindi siya na-reabsorb. More urine output, but your urine would be considered here to be diluted na urine. And that would signify that you are hydrated na patient. Okay, so try to analyze this one. Ay, pag madami ka antidiuretic hormone because nauhaw ka, so dehydrated ka, expect here that less water will be, expect of less urine output for that, and the urine output is a concentrated one. On the other hand, pag hindi ka nauhaw, your thirst center, your hypothalamus will not be activated, so less concentration of antidiuretic hormone will be released as well, and therefore less water will be reabsorbed in the collecting ducts. So therefore, much of that water will be going to, okay, exit here as part of your urine output. So dadami ang urine output natin, but that urine is considered to be a diluted na urine. Okay, so that's all about your tubular reabsorption. Okay, the last function of our kidney we have here, the tubular secretion. Tubular secretion is just the opposite of your tubular reabsorption. So, kung ang tubular reabsorption natin ay mula sa renal tubules ang substance, papunta sa blood vessels, ang tubular secretion naman baliktad. Ang substance in your blood, pabalik mo dito sa renal tubules para mapalabas sa ihi natin. Okay, that's your tubular secretions. Okay, the tubular secretions occurring here in this part, peritubular capillaries, because this part is highly, would have a strong affinity with your protein-bound substance. So, kung ang mga substance natin na hindi na-filter ng glomerulus because they are protein-bound, pagdating dito, merong pang magnet dito na part. This one would have a strong affinity for the protein-bound substance. So, lahat ng protein-bound substance, pagdating dito, it would allow it to be dissociated sa protein. Pag nag-dissociate na sa protein, so, pwede nyo nang i-excrete or secrete dito sa renal tubules, and therefore, lalabas na sa katawan natin. Okay, we have here the significance of your tubular secretion. The first one, that's for the secretion of those substances which are not filtered by the glomerulus, because again, they are protein-bound substance. So, however, those substances ay mga waste products, or those are toxins, poisons, or even medications, or even your allergens. Medications that we are taking in, those are exogenous substance. Anything that is not part of our body, dapat nilalabas natin. Okay, by your secretion process. Again, they are being secreted only here because, again, they are filtered by the glomerulus. Okay? Because, again, they are protein-bound substance. Pero, kahit na-filter sila ng glomerulus, ay hindi sila na-filter ng glomerulus, akala nila makakalusot na sila. But then again, you still have your peritubular capillaries where it would have a strong affinity for them in order for them to be removed back to the renal tubules in order for them to be excreted out their body as part of your urine. Second function of your tubular secretion is for the maintenance of your acid-base balance to maintain our blood pH at 7.4 by secretion of your hydrogen ions. So your renal tubules try to secrete hydrogen ions. It will help here to maintain our blood pH. Basically, again, another function of your tubular secretion is for the maintenance of your acid-base balance. Okay, so for the acid-base balance, there are two organs in our body that try to regulate your acid-base balance. We have your lungs, it serves as the respiratory function, and we have your kidney, which try to serve as the metabolic function. Okay, so we have here the condition acidosis and alkalosis. So, pag sinabing acidosis, ang pH natin is less than 7.4. Pag alkalosis, ang blood pH natin is more than 7.4, which is already beyond the normal na blood pH. So, meron kang problem. Your lungs try to regulate your acid-base balance by regulating the level of your carbonic acid. Your kidney, on the other hand, try to regulate the level of your or the acid-base balance by regulating the bicarbonate level. This is your carbonic acid, this is your bicarbonate. Okay, so pag sinabi kasi nating acid-base balance, they try to compensate with one another in an opposite way. What do I mean by that? Kung ang problem mo, pag ang problem mo ay sa lungs, ang kidney natin ang magko-correct. So like, pag ang problem mo is respiratory acidosis, dapat ito ay magiging Gagawin niyo lahat para maging alkalosis para ma-maintain ang 7.4 na pH. The same through, pag ditong problem, ito ang magko-correct. Okay, so how your kidney were able to regulate your bicarbonate? Okay, your kidney try to secrete hydrogen ions, whereas your bicarbonate is filtered by the glomerulus. So, dito ang hydrogen ions natin, dito naman ang ating, dito ang hydrogen ions natin, secreted by your, okay, by the renal tubules from this part, papunta dito. Tapos ang bicarbonate natin being filtered here. Pag nakita silang dalawa, pagko-combine sila to form your carbonic acid, then pag nag-form siya ng carbonic acid, i-reabsorb siya, and then try to dissociate again to your hydrogen and your bicarbonate. So, pag nag-reabsorb siya ng bicarbonate, magiging base siya or alkaline. Kailan niya i-reabsorb ang bicarbonate natin dapat? Pag may problem ka in your lungs in the form of your respiratory acidosis. Sobrang acid dito, kaya kailangan mo mag-alkaline dito. Therefore, you need to reabsorb the bicarbonate. Okay, so reabsorption bicarbonate by your kidney help to correct problem in your lungs in the form of respiratory acidosis. Hydrogen ions secreted by the renal tubules combining with the filtered bicarbonate to form carbonic acid. Then it would dissociate to your bicarbonate ulit and hydrogen. It would enable you then to reabsorb the bicarbonate and therefore increasing the blood pH para maging alkalosis ito, and therefore since acidosis ito, para pupunta siya sa 7.4 na normal na blood pH. Okay, another mechanism here how your kidney able to regulate your acid-base balance is by excretion of your hydrogen ion or acid. Hydrogen ion is an acid, di ba? So kung gusto mo na ilabas madaming acid sa katawan natin, bakit mo gustong ilabas? It's because you are suffering with your respiratory acidosis. Pwede mo i-correct ang respiratory acidosis as number 1, kailangan mo mag-reabsorb ng base. Just in the case, for example, you are reabsorbing your bicarbonate. Diba? Second one, makokorek mo ang respiratory acidosis pag maglabas ka ng acid sa ihi natin. So, ways of removing here your acid in your body is by your this phosphate, monohydrogen phosphate, saka ammonium ion. Okay, hydrogen ion secreted by your renal tubules. Your monohydrogen phosphate is secreted by your renal tubules. It's being filtered by the glomerulus. Pag nag-combine sila, they form dihydrogen phosphate. Once they form your dihydrogen phosphate, it will be removed. So, pag nag-combine sila dito, lalabas ang ating acid in the form of your dihydrogen phosphate. The same through with this one. Hydrogen ion combining with your ammonia to form ammonium ions. Ammonia, hydrogen ion plus ammonia plus your hydrogen ion to form ammonium ions. So, lalabas ang ammonium ion natin. It's a way of also removing the acid. Itong dalawa. So, that's why you're able to correct for the problem, especially for in the case of your respiratory acidosis.